Richard Bland, 4 under 67. Richard, where did you feel the state of your game was coming into this week, and did you expect this of yourself?
Yeah, I knew it was pretty good. Obviously, coming off a couple of good results, a win and a third in Europe. So yeah, I was feeling pretty good about my game. I've been driving the ball well for 5-6 weeks now, which is the cornerstone of if you're going to put a fight up for a US Open. When I saw this place on Monday, it just kind of set up to my eye. There's not too many sort of dog legs. It's all just there straight in front of you, and that's kind of like the golf course I like. So there's nothing to kind of jumping out and grabbing you or anything like that. So when I saw the course Monday, I was I can play around here.
Todd?
Richard, we seem to define golfers by majors. You've played in very few. Just wondered what your view of majors was through your career. Have you sat and watched them and enjoyed them, or did you kind of feel like a loss a little bit for not having been able to do more?
Oh, of course. As I'm a professional golfer, I'm also a golf fan. I love watching the Masters. That's especially as I've been fortunate enough to play there with a friend of mine. There's nothing like the back nine of a Masters. Hopefully, if I can keep playing the way I'm playing, maybe next year I might be able to experience it, or the year after. That would be unbelievable. That would be a proper dream come true. But I have in the qualifyings that we have in Europe. I think I've lost in the playoff 4 times for a US Open, and I've lost 3 times in an Open qualifying. So I could have maybe played closer to double-figure majors, but it's not quite to be, and I'm not going to lose any sleep over that. So I'm just enjoying this one right now.
All the way on the right, Mark?
Hey, Richard, I'm just wondering, in the aftermath of your win last month, what were the most powerful emotional things that came out of it, and the byproducts of that, whether it was emotion or tangible things? What were some of the?
The first 2 or 3 days were were a bit of a blur. As much of the first 24 hours more hangover than anything. The social media side of it I wasn't ready for. Just getting messages from people all over the globe. From Australia, from here, from America and South America, China. Just saying how inspired they were by it. That's something I wasn't expecting. It's just the guys just won a golf tournament, really. When you boil it down. Mm-hmm. But as it all sunk in, I think it was just more satisfaction than anything that. I kind of got what I've always wanted. I want more. Every golfer wants more. So hopefully I can do it again. But. It's kind of nice when you look on the European Tour website now. I've got that one by my name.
Just wondering, as a follow there, but prior to the win, how would you have defined your career as a guy that's been trying to get that first win?
Yeah, I think if you don't win on tour, whether it be the PGA Tour or the European Tour, you're always going to have that. That sort of I'm just thinking of the right word. That kind of. When you look back on it, of a bit disappointment, of slightly underachieving maybe. There's a guy in Europe now, I think at 524 is still not won, Davey Drysdale. And I'm sure he'll get there. For me it was just the satisfaction that I kept going, I never gave up, and I kind of got there in the end.
Right behind me, Bryce.
Yeah. How do you, congratulations on the round.
Thank you.
How do you stick with it when there's 20 years between victories? That's a lot of time to process getting close and not quite getting over the hump.
But golf's all I know. When times got tough and, I lost my car 2 or 3 times, I think, what am I going to do? Go and get an office job? I'm not that intelligent, I'm afraid. So it was just right. Okay, I've always been someone that I can get my head down. I work hard, and I always knew I had the game to compete on the European tour at the highest level. I've always known that. But as any golf career, you're going to have peaks and troughs. Of course you are. But I just think every kind of sportsman, sportswoman, they have that never die or that never quit attitude. No matter whether it's golf or it's tennis or it's boxing, whatever it is, they just, it's an old saying, isn't it? You get knocked down 7 times, you get up 8. And I've always had that kind of attitude that, you just keep going. You never know in this game. You just keep going.
I read that after the British Masters, you celebrated with some pints and a lamb roast. What would that look like here if you're in that position on Sunday?
I've got a flight back on Sunday night because I'm due to play in Munich next week. Whether I'd probably maybe skip that one, I think, and maybe I might buy a new ticket and fly home a couple of days later.
Right here.
Most guys who come in here have a ping or Titleist across their hat. What's the story behind?
This is just my golf club back home, the Wisley. I don't have a hat kind of deal at the minute. So if anyone's offering, so I just kind of said to the golf club, I said, look, it'd be quite nice if I wore the hat. They gave me sort of like 10 hats to come out here with. So it's just the golf club that I'm a member at back home.
And what's the story behind your driver head cover?
I'm involved with a charity in South Africa called Birdies for Rhinos. So there's about 20 of us now, mainly on the European tour, a few ladies. I think Justin Rose is involved with it as well. So every birdie that we make throughout the year, we donate some money to help save, rhino poaching and what have you. It's, animals are all sort of quite close to my heart. Two things I can't stand is 3-putting and animal cruelty. It was a couple of the South African lads asked me to come on board, and it's been an honour to do it. And I just thought I'd get I've always had like a sort of head cover like an animal or something like that. So why not have a rhino?
On the right, Doug.
Richard, when you mentioned a minute ago giving the gym guys a run for their money, was that a figure of speech, or do you actually actively avoid the gym?
No. I try and more for me now. It's more sort of flexibility. As we get older, kind of, everything kind of creaks in the morning, and there's a new ache to wake up to. So, for me, it's just more. More on the flexibility side now. And try and keep your speed up as well. It's just a figure of speech, really.
Right here.
I was looking at your Twitter bio. Is that a bit of humor there on there? You play during the week, take some weekends off?
Well, we're in a sport where you're going to miss some cuts. So I try not to take the sort of Twitter too seriously. So I've had a few weeks off weekends off in my career. I'm a Southampton fan on there as well is probably as most people would probably know in England, that's probably quite humorous as well, because you shouldn't be owning up to that.
And one more thing, you were sort of talking about how you view your career. I mean, I guess there's two ways to look at it. You've been playing golf for a long time, and maybe you haven't had the success that you maybe have wanted to. You can also say, hey, look, I've been playing golf a long time, and while a lot of people have had office jobs, right, you're kind of living out a dream, I guess. Is that kind of how you look at it? Or
I'm fortunate with what I do. I think we all are. To play, whether you're playing on the European tour, you're playing on the PJ Tour, whatever. I think any amateur golfer would probably give their right arm to play it as a living. I think they might think something different if they did play it for a living, I've always been very, thought of it as I'm very fortunate that I can travel the world and play some of the best courses in the world, and some of the biggest tournaments in the world. So, I'm certainly not looking at my career just now as, sort of lack of success or anything like that. I just feel privileged that I can do what I can do.
Right behind me, Bill.
You've been asked a lot about Phil Mickelson's win, obviously, and you said a little while ago that this is kind of the year of us oldies. But do you have a theory or an explanation as to why that is?
I think, when you look at it, you look at kind of Lee and Stuart and Phil. Okay, Lee's not quite, has unfortunately not got his major. Whether that comes this week or, and sometime in the future, I'm sure what Phil did has given Lee a huge sort of confidence boost in that way that his major career isn't over. Stuart's won a major and Phil's obviously won, I think 6 now. So they've been world-class players for a long, long time. You don't lose that overnight. It's the whole saying that class is permanent, and that is with them. I played 18 holes with Lee on Monday, and he still hits it as good as anybody. I think if it's, as we've all known with Lee, if he chips and putts well, then he's going to contend because he's still probably right up there as tee to green, as one of the best in the world. And it wouldn't surprise me. I kind of saw his name a little bit this week. I think he was hovering around sort of level 1 under. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if he was in there come Sunday afternoon.
All the way on the right.
A lot of us in here know your swing coach pretty well. What made you stick with him all these years, and how has he helped you?
Yeah, Tim, we got together 20 years ago. And we in golfing terms, we just kind of speak the same language. And I've always been a firm believer of the way I want to swing a golf club. You get the coach that kind of teaches that. And that's what Tim does. And every time we work together, I go away knowing exactly what I want to work on. And we don't really do an awful lot now. I saw him twice last week. I think we were drinking coffee for most of it. We haven't really changed anything, for a while. It's just you can just sort of a fine tune here and there. That's all it is. The kind of we're not trying to sort of reinvent the wheel. But he's just the best coach in the world for me. And as I said, after my win, to Sky, if I had another 20 years of a career, he would be my coach for 20 years. I would never, he's part of the furniture. Just took me 20 years to listen to him.
We're going to go right here. Last question.
Just watching you out there, it seemed like you were very present. Looking around, seeing people, and not pressing or anything like that. I just wonder, what was it like? Were you aware of your position? How were you kind of just going through those 4.5 hours?
Yeah, I was very aware. I'm not someone that doesn't look at boards. I like to know where I am. You just kind of take it. It's nice, really, to play in front of the fans again. Unfortunately we're not quite there yet in Europe. I think we had a tournament a couple of weeks ago that we had some. I think in Germany. In Europe we're not quite there yet, and so it's really nice to have that interaction with the crowd again. I think we've all missed that, and I think. It just kind of gets you, while you're walking down the fairway, it gets you away a little bit, But then, I've always got this kind of thing that probably when I get to about 20 yards of the ball, I take my glove out of my pocket, and that's it. Then that's kind of like, right, I'm kind of switched on again and getting back ready to, figuring out where the wind is, what yards I'm going to have, and from there. So. But yeah, more than anything, it's just been nice to play in front of the crowds.
Do you remember the first time you looked over and actually saw your name at the top?
I kind of guessed. I thought when I made birdie on 4, I kind of guessed that maybe, because I knew, obviously, I knew 4 led after yesterday.
Right.
That got me to 5. So I thought, okay, yeah, maybe I might have a share of it. I didn't know what Louis was doing. There's not too many boards around sort of 2, 3, 4, 5. So I think the next one I saw was on the 6th tee. So yeah, I knew and then I saw I had the lead there, and so yeah, you know, and then I birdied 6. You know, I'm obviously a little disappointing drop shot at 8, but you know, yeah, it is what it is.
Thanks, Richard. Congrats on a great day.
Thank you.